Hey, Jim, where are you? Oh, hey, what are you doing in there? Oh, I swear, I can't leave you alone for a second. Come out here. Well, hey, how's it going? I'm working on the Z4 paint job still, and I'm kind of struggling a little bit with it. Let me show you. So I have been sanding and buffing and all of that, and if you look closely, even after a buff, there's still a lot of surface scratches, and I need a manicure. And I was thinking that maybe this is because of bad prep, that I didn't go fine enough before I applied my paint. But then I did an experiment over here, and you can see where I've got all of my fine scratches. And then over here, you see I don't have hardly any fine scratches. And it's because in this area, I spent a lot of time with some 1200 grit, and I guess that means that all of this stuff can still be sanded out. It's just going to take a lot more elbow grease, because it looks pretty good over here where I spent some time on it. So I have a lot more sanding to do, because it took an extra probably 10 minutes just on this one spot in order to get it to where there's very few of those scratches still showing. So this is going to take a while. Oh, my arms are going to be huge like Popeye when I'm done. Well, back to it. Boy, this has been a lot of work. So it's been a few days, and I've got it buffed and polished out, and it looks okay. It looks okay from a distance. I've started putting it back together. I haven't driven this car in 6 months, and I've done a lot of work, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting it back out on the road so I can experience. I put in new struts front and rear. I fixed a vacuum leak up in the engine a few months ago. I know it's still going to have a noisy steering rack that I haven't addressed, and I don't know if my repair on the evaporative system here is finally going to take or not. So the whole thing is still kind of who knows if it's going to be legal, but this paint job has come out okay. Pretty much every panel has a problem if you look close. Look close. For instance, let's talk about this deck lid, this whole section here. Even if we look past all of the surface scratches that are still there, there are places where I've been working on it hard, where I've gone through the paint. That's my original silver color right along that edge there, and there's a little piece right here that's the original silver I've gone through. So this trunk lid is not passable. There are other problems up here on the surface. There are blemishes, and so what I've decided I'm going to do here is I am going to start doing repaints. I am going to just mask off where all I'm going to paint again is just this trunk lid, and get it all prepared and all cleaned, and then all I'm going to paint is just this one panel, and see if I can get a handle on making the paint layout smoother so I don't have to do so much of the sanding and end up wearing through, because wearing through like this is really kind of annoying, and this isn't the only place that I have this problem. I've worn through it right there. I've worn through it right there. worn through it a little bit down here. The rest of this fender looks pretty good. If you look closely right here, you can see primer just barely starting to peek through. So again, just walking around the whole thing, I can find problems here and there. The hood looks pretty good. Just little spots where I have worn through. And so I'm going to have to address all of that, and I've decided that the way to do it, and I don't know if it's the right or the wrong way, but it's the way I'm going to approach it here, and I'm just going to start redoing it one panel at a time. And I'm going to start with, I'm going to repaint the wheels today, and then I'm going to start preparing that trunk lid, and I'm going to respray the trunk lid and see if this panel by panel approach is okay. I bought another gallon of paint yesterday, so I have plenty of supplies. And I know this is kind of silly because it's taken a really long time, and now I'm kind of basically going to do the whole thing a second time. But I'm going to go ahead and finish putting it back together after I've at least resprayed the trunk and get it out of the garage and out on the road, and then little by little I'll keep bringing it back in and respraying another panel here and there as I have time, but I have other stuff I have to do. So the E85 Z4 the project that never ends. But that's okay. I'm learning how to paint a car. That's always good. So I guess what this is here is what you would call, or what I would call, a 30-footer. It looks pretty damn good from about 30 feet away, but the closer you get, the shakier it starts looking. Oh, looks like, am I through there too? Yeah, that looks like, oh, wait a minute. Is that? No, I'm also through there. I thought that was just compound on the edge, but it isn't. So I'm just going to do it. Like I said, a little here, a little there. But meanwhile, I'll get it back out on the road. And it's just not what I had imagined. I imagined a beautiful high gloss, deep, lustrous black finish. And I was able to achieve that in a couple of places, but it really isn't quite up to what I am expecting. So I'm not giving up yet. I hope you don't. Thanks for watching. I'll post more as I get it done. Yeah, what a mess. I'm going to have to work on these for a long time. What a surprise, huh? Better.